Hello guys, today I'll be talking about my research paper titled Animals Remember Previous Facial Expressions That Specific Humans Have Exhibited, written by Leanne Proops, Kate Grounds, Amy Victoria Smith, and Karen McComb, published May 7, 2018. Their hypothesis was, some non-human animals are able to form lasting memories of specific individuals by observing subtle emotional expressions that those individuals exhibit on their faces. The species they will be looking at are horses. Some background information is that previous research has found that a wide range of different animal species are capable of discriminating others' emotions by looking at facial expressions. For example, if you look to the bottom left picture, you'll see a research paper titled Giant Pandas Can Discriminate the Emotions of Human Facial Pictures. The abstract states that they tested whether adult giant pandas can discriminate expressions from pictures of half of a face and found that pandas can learn to discriminate between angry and happy expressions based on global information from the whole face. The research article on the right, titled Functionally Relevant Responses to Human Facial Expressions of Emotion in the Domestic Horse. The study presents the first evidence of horses' abilities to spontaneously discriminate between positive, happy, and negative, angry, human facial expressions in photographs. There is also some evidence that suggests that non-human animals are capable of remembering specific individuals who have directly harmed them in the past. Remembering emotional experiences with specific individuals influences the animal's social bonding and aggression avoidance towards the specific individual during another encounter. However, there is a gap in the literature because it is unknown whether or not animals can form lasting memories of specific individuals based off of observing facial emotional expressions. The method used in my research paper to test the hypothesis was first, presenting an experimental group of horses with a photo of an angry or happy face belonging to one of two human models for 2 minutes, with a total of 48 horses. Only half of the horses saw the angry or happy face of model A, and the other half saw the angry or happy face of model B. The experimenters waited several hours, approximately 3 to 6. The experimental group of horses then got to see the live model that was depicted in the photo, but the models now had neutral faces. The live models were blind, or unaware, of which emotion the horse had seen in the picture. There was also a control group of horses that got to see a different, mismatched live model, meaning the other live model in the experimental group, that also had a neutral face. They recorded 5 physical responses given by the horses. First, looking behaviors, lateralized and binocular looking. 2, displacement and stress behaviors. 3, approach. 4, avoidance. And 5, heart rate. A lateralized response refers to the fact that the two halves of the human brain are not exactly alike. Each hemisphere has functional specializations. Some function whose neural mechanisms are localized primarily in one half of the brain. This is also true for horses. A negative response, meaning a threatening stimuli, is processed in the horse's right hemisphere and creates a left gaze bias. A positive response, or a pro-social stimuli, is processed in the horse's left hemisphere and creates a right gaze bias. As you can see in the bottom left picture, binocular vision means the vision that they see with both eyes in front of them, and they do have a blind area around their nose. Horses also have a right eye field of vision and a left eye field of vision, which allows for the left gaze bias and the right gaze bias. This is figure 1. It shows images of the experimental setup and exposure phase on the left and the test phase on the right. Let's take a closer look. Again, the exposure phase is on the left and the test phase is on the right. Here they used model A, a female. In the test phase, subjects in the experimental group were presented with the live model previously depicted in the photograph, but this time adopting a neutral expression. Subjects in the mismatch control group viewed the previously unseen model adopting a neutral expression. The solid border around the images of the test phase shows the experimental group, and the dashed border around the mismatch control group. Both models were blind to the original condition, happy or angry. This is model B, showing the same exact thing. Here is an extra video to help you get a sense of what they were conducting.
The special bond between humans and horses has been well documented. Some would say we even share certain expressions, while now new research shows horses really can read human emotions. In an experiment using photographs of male human faces, scientists discovered horses can distinguish between angry and happy faces and react accordingly. These riders at Ebony Horse Club in London say there is a special relationship between humans and horses.
So if you're happy and relaxed, then they'll be relaxed and they'll just help you.
Sometimes I think they just know when you're not having a great day. They can make you feel much better. Obviously they'll react if you are behaving around them in quite an angry manner. They normally react to that. So they do definitely make you aware of your own emotions and how you behave.
Sue Collins from the centre isn't surprised by the findings.
We see kids come here in very stressful situations they can be in, and we know that if they're calm and they know that if they're calm, the horse will respond well to them.
The horses were also fitted with heart monitors, which revealed that angry faces caused their heart rates to rise significantly.
In that video, they showed the horses pictures of male faces, and in our experiment, they used female faces. Here is figure 2, which shows responses of the experimental and control groups to the neutral person after viewing the happy versus angry photographs. Let's take a closer look. This is figure A. Located on the x-axis, they have the test condition and the mismatch control condition. On the y-axis, you'll see the mean gaze time left, meaning the time spent viewing the stimuli with the left gaze bias. The darker bar represents the angry emotion, and the white bars represent the happy. As you can see in the test condition, there was a significant difference between the time spent viewing the stimuli with the left gaze bias during the angry emotion, and there was no significant difference during the mismatch control condition. Here is figure 2b. Again, on the x-axis, we see the test condition and the mismatch control condition. On the y-axis, we see the mean gaze time right, meaning the time spent viewing the stimuli with the right gaze bias. Again, the darker bar shows the angry emotion and the white bar the happy emotion. And this graph shows that the happy emotion showed a significant difference from the angry emotion in the test condition, meaning that when showed the happy photo, there was a right gaze bias. And in the mismatch control condition, again, there was no significant difference. In figure 2c, represents the time spent looking left, right, and in the middle. Positive scores indicate a left gaze bias, and negative scores indicate a right gaze bias. Here we can see on the x-axis again the test condition and the mismatch control condition. On the y-axis we have the mean laterality index. As you can see, the darker bar has a positive score, and the white happy bar in the test condition has a negative score. So the angry emotion indicates that there was a left gaze bias when shown the angry photo, and the white bar represents a negative score when shown the happy emotion, which indicates a right gaze bias, and there is a significant difference between the two. In the mismatch control, there is no significant difference. This is figure 2D, which represents the time spent engaging in displacement behaviors, such as actions that appear unrelated to the current situation, such as scratching, and are thought to be a coping mechanism in stressful situations. Horses in the experimental group that had been shown the angry photo spent more time engaging in displacement behaviors, scratching, floor sniffing, and performing a species-specific behavior termed lick and chew when viewing the live, neutral person than did those that had been shown the happy photo. And then again in the mismatched control condition, we see that there was no significant difference. To conclude, the results demonstrate that some animals are capable of forming lasting memories of a specific individual, even after a single encounter, and using the individual's past facial expression to influence their behavior around the same individual, who now had a neutral face expression several hours later. The short-term exposure was enough to produce clear differences in the horse's lateralized looking and levels of displacement behavior. These were consistent with the angry expression being perceived negatively, meaning there was a left gaze bias, and the happy expression being perceived positively with a right gaze bias. Because the horses were not re-exposed to any other stimuli and the models were kept blind in the study, the results could not be due to emotional contagion. Thus, the horses were using their memory to guide their response to the same live person from the photo. The importance of this is that recognizing and remembering facial expressions is an adaptation that is important to have in complex societies so that an individual can quickly perceive intent and information from another individual. This study provides direct evidence that this adaptation can also be used in interspecific communication. What you should take away from this research paper is that horses can remember emotional expressions that they have seen on human faces. The horses' responses differed when they saw an angry photo versus a happy photo of the model. Also, horses have a lasting memory for emotion, and it is specific to the person whose face they saw in the photo. Non-human animals monitor human emotions and adjust their behavior based on those observed emotions. Thank you for listening, guys. I hope you enjoy some funny pictures of horses.